What would happen if the average price of houses skyrocketed to $10 million per home? Believe it or not, there are some people who think that this will be the case 50 years from now. And even though 50 years is a long time away, if this theory is true, the process of mega housing inflation will start very soon, and in a lot of ways has already begun. So recently, Jared Brock wrote an article speculating the housing market is not currently in a bubble, but in fact is facing a new paradigm shift on how homes are going to be valued and how it could change everything. Now, most of the reasons he gives for the rise in housing prices are things many experts have already stated: population growth, particularly in the cities, a slowdown in homes being built, and investors buying up properties at a higher cost. But one big factor that he believes will completely change the market is corporate investing. How? Well, let's say, for example, that you're trying to buy a house. You offer $100,000 because that's what you can afford. But there's also an investor interested in the property and is willing to pay $125,000 because the rent that he can charge in that area makes it still profitable at that price. Then another investor comes in and offers $150,000 because he can make a lot more with short-term rentals such as Airbnb. Finally, a corporation comes in and offers $200,000. Why? Because they have investors that are willing to take losses for years while they slowly grow into a profitable company. And as they outbid everyone, the housing market becomes increasingly valuable until those houses are so expensive that the average person has no way of being able to afford a home. Not only that, but with housing prices being so high, most people won't even be able to afford the annual property tax on the homes they already have, forcing even those with no mortgage to sell off their houses and rent from this new Amazon of the housing market. Sounds pretty bad, right? Except for a few things are missing from this formula. First and foremost is regular inflation. $10 million may seem like a lot in today's money, but if we assume regular inflation tracks at just 2.5%, then that would amount to less than $3 million when adjusted. Now that's still a lot, but not nearly as much as it sounded like just a moment ago. Then there's the assumption of population growth. If we continue to grow as a nation and flock to cities, then that could put a lot of pressure on housing in those areas. But the truth is, our population is expected to start shrinking as the current generation is having way less children than the generations of the past. We also know that the pandemic has accelerated the trend of work from home, leading more people out of the cities and into more rural areas. And with the expected improvements in rural internet access, we could see this trend continue to grow exponentially. That would mean less competition in urban housing and slower price increases around the city.